Okay, once again you're watching PJ Collection Clothing, and in this video I'll be showing us how to cut a senator top, v-neck and a short sleeve. The shoulder 18, chest 40, stomach 38, neck 16, sleeve 27, top length, the hip there and the arm hole. Now in cutting this, you fold your fabric into two. Want to cut the front panel. To fold your fabric into two, divide your chest by 4, then you add 1.5 or 2 inch sewing allowance. Remember, this formula works for both adult and female. So the first thing, divide your fabric into 4 plus 2 inch or 1.5 inch sewing allowance. You can even go as low as 1 inch. So to begin with, you mark the straight line as shown. This straight line is our neck line. Take notes. Remember, the formula works for both adults and kids. Now, the next line I'll be marking is the shoulder line. Formula for neckline is neck divided by 6 minus 0.3 will give you the width. Then the depth is the width value plus 0.5, or the standard. Now the neck is 16, so I'll be moving down by 2.5. Now, in a situation whereby you're doing for a piping neck, you're doing for a V-neck, you're doing for a bishop collar neck, and you're also doing for a collar neckline, you use the exact value. But if you are sewing for a round neck, you subtract 0.2 or a quarter inch away from your value. Remember, I said the depth here, we are using 2.5. Assuming I'm doing for a round neck, I'll subtract a quarter inch away. Since I'm doing for a V-neck, I'll use that value, 2.5. So you mark a straight line. So this is your neckline, your shoulder line. Now the width is 2 inch, right? Remember I said if it's round neck, I won't use that exact value. So you make a nice curve as shown. Okay. Now this is the shoulder line. So the shoulder is 18. So you divide it by 2 since we're cutting the front. 18 divided by 2 gives you 9. You add half inch sewing allowance. Mark. You now connect this point. Connect these 2 points from here to this point. Connect it down as shown. So you're through with our shoulder slant and our neckline. Now, to get your armhole or the chest line, take note, to get your armhole or the chest line, divide your chest by 4. Take note, divide your chest by 4 minus 3. The reason why we are removing 3 is because we are cutting just the front panel alone. So to get your armhole or chest line, divide your chest by 4 minus 3. So the chest we're using here is 40, and you're doing that from the shoulder line. Remember, this is your neckline, shoulder line. You're doing that from the shoulder line. So 40 divided by 4 gives you 10. Minus 3 gives you 7. Remember, we're doing just the front alone. So I'm marking at 7. This is 7. So this is your chest line. Now, at this point, make a straight line. So now, at chest, now put your chest measurement. Your chest is 40. So that is 10. Then I'm adding 1.5 inch sewing allowance. So now make a nice curve, the armhole. So this is how you get your armhole. Now the top length is 35. To get the top length, you're starting from this first line here, down, 35, down to 35. Then you're adding 2 inch sewing allowance. Okay? Remember, we're doing a freehand cutting here. Now, from your armhole down, there's what you call slit. For a short top, is for 12. You stop at 14. Take note. From your arm, while you're sewing, you have what is called slit at the down part. To stop, while sewing, you sew and stop at 14 for a short top. For a longer top, you can go as far as 16, 17. Now, in between this point lies your stomach. Now, the person's stomach is 38. That is to say that you flatten it a little. And you stop at where the slit is. Remember, I said this point where you sew and you stop. Remember, this will be the slit. There will be a slit at the down. So having said that, this is how to cut for the front panel. So we'll do the cutting now. Okay, so as you can see, I'm through with the front panel. So we now want to cut the back. Okay, so we're through with the front panel. We now want to cut the back panel. To cut the back is very, very easy. Now, you fold the second fabric that you want to use, and after folding, you now place your front on it as shown, making sure it has the same width. First step, watch carefully. You cut off this part. First step. Then, okay, as you can see now, please take note, while cutting off this part, you don't move down this way. Please take note, down to the width. You now take this down, the front panel, take it down by 3.5 inch. Okay, so let's confirm this 3.5 inch. All right, make sure that this is 3.5 inch. All right, here we go. That is 3 point. Now you now fold this. Watch carefully. Now fold this on top of the front, making sure that it shouldn't exceed ½ inch. So you're marking ½ inch. So your folding should not exceed ½ inch. Look at the ½ inch point marked. So you make sure that it shouldn't exceed ½ inch. Okay. Okay. Now watch carefully. Now watch carefully. Now trace, please. When tracing, you don't trace from here. No. You're tracing from here to have the round neck. Curve it, curve down. Okay, then you open this. Watch carefully. You open this, and you continue from this point here marked. So by the time you fold this back, you notice a round neck there, as you can see. Okay, then the other part you now trace. Remember your then trace the other part down. That is how to cut the back. So we're through cutting. So the next thing I'll quickly show us how to fix a V neck. So okay. So I'll quickly show us how to fix the V neck in the next video. Okay, so we now want to prepare the various components in which we use in making the top. Remember, we're making for a V-neck. So the first thing we need is the back yoke. We need a back yoke. So now to do the back yoke, you get your fabric that I want to use and you fold it into two. Then you get your back panel. Remember, it's just the back yoke. We don't need the front yoke as shown. You fold it as shown. Then you trace this part. You trace this other part. Okay, so that is our back yoke. Then you now fold the edge. Fold this edge neat and iron it down. Okay, so you keep this aside. Okay, the next thing we want to prepare is what to use for the V-neck. So get a piece of fabric that you want to use. The width here is 4 inch. 4 inch. Then the length you're using is 40 inch. Alright, so the first thing you do is you fold the edge. You put your cloth gum stay, get a cloth gum stay, and you gum it as shown. Remember the width 4, the length 40. Now you fold the first one, ½ inch all through down to the end. Fold it down to the end. ½ inch. Then you now fold again. Watch carefully. The width of your folding 1.5 inch. Take notes, 1.5 inch, and you iron this down all through. 1.5 inch. Iron it down all through. This is what to use to make the V-neck of our top. Then, as you can see, there's an excess that you keep there. As you can see, you leave an excess there, a little that we use to sew. So this is for the V part. So the next thing I'll be showing us is how to do this. So these are the various components we need in making the top. Just your back yoke and the placket which you use to sew your V-neck round. Okay, so at this stage, you now want to start the sewing proper on how to couple this. So the first thing you do, you get your back panel, you place it as shown. Now, this is the wrong side. Then you get your front panel, you place it as shown. Remember, the wrong side to the wrong side. Then you get your back yoke as shown, good side to the wrong side. Now, first, back panel, wrong side. The front panel, good side facing you. Then this. So you go to your sewing machine, pick up 1, 2, 3. Pick up these 3. Then you sew 1/2 inch from this point. Sew it to the end. Let's do that now. Okay, so when you're through with that part, you move on to the second part. You pick up the 3, 1, 2, 3. Make sure the 3 are equal. Then you sew 1/2 inch down again. You're sewing 1/2 inch. Please make sure that the 3, look at the 3 are equal. Then when you're through, you now turn the yoke over. Just flip the yoke over. So you flip this. Remember, the yoke was at the front panel, so you're flipping it to the back panel. Flipping it to the back panel. Then you now sew. Trying to cover it up, so sewing it down to the end there. Okay, so we are through with this. I'll show us how to fix the V neck. Okay, so this is our neck. Remember, the neck is 16. This is the neck. So we're doing for a V neck. So you open this. Take note, you're opening this. You're opening this format. Okay. Trying to adjust this down, making sure that both armholes are equal. Okay, opening this. Now, watch carefully. This is how you keep it. Okay, now, the depth here, you move down by 8.5 inch. Then, now make a triangular shape as shown. Okay, so this is how we cut. Remember, we're trying to form the V-neck. The first thing you do is you keep your fabric this way, as you can see, keep it this way. Then remember, this is the front panel. The V-neck is coming towards the front panel. So you mark down 8.5 inch. Then now make a triangular shape as shown, starting from the front panel as shown. So you now cut. Okay, so now let's take it back and see what we got there. Just it back. Okay, so this is what we have there. Alright. So I tried to make it neat, so this is what we have there. Okay. Alright, so at this stage we now want to fix. So remember, this is what we have. Trying to make it very neat, so it will be very neat. Now please watch carefully. At this down, I'll make them see this. Okay, so this part, watch carefully. You put a notch at this end, this point. You put a notch as shown. Move it down this way. Put a notch as shown. You also put a notch this other way around. Then you fold this inside. Iron this. Remember the center. fold this inside, then you iron it down. Okay, let's put our hemigum there so it will be intact. Okay, I'm trying to use hemigum to gum it down. Okay, so now let's go to our sewing machine. Remember what we prepared to use to sew this down. So we now use this to sew it round. Okay, now we want to sew this to this. Remember, these are front panel, the good side. Now remember this. So remember, this is the front panel, making sure that it's overlapping the points. Watch carefully. Now, if you take a look, you see where the notch is. This is where the notch is. If you take a look, now you're sewing this. Remember, this is full, so you're sewing this point here, starting from this point. So you're sewing it down round. So let's do that now. So you're sewing this round the tip of our V-neck. Remember, you're sewing it from the good side round. Now this is where you stop. Watch care, you stop at this point here. This is where you stop. This point is where the notch is. You're stopping there. Okay. Okay, so we're through sewing the front. We're through. So now you now turn this to the inside. Remember, we're sewing it from the good side. So you're turning this inside from the folded. You're turning this inside, passing through this point. Turning this other one to inside. Take note, so taking it inside. By the time you just turn, automatically it will just fold in. So turning this inside. As you can see now. Now watch carefully. Now this point here, as you can see this point, make sure that it's well relaxed. So you're turning this inside. Then you now sew. Please make sure that it's properly relaxed so you can get to iron it down. So it's properly relaxed, so you're not top stitching. Okay, let's go to the iron to press it well. Okay, I'm trying to turn this down to make sure I iron it properly also at the down. Trying to make sure it's properly relaxed. Remember, we have to sew again. Remember the sewing, we have to sew this to cover up. Take note, we have to sew this all through the down to cover this down, so we have still to sew. So I'm just trying to make sure this part is properly relaxed. So you iron it down. Okay. I'm just trying to make sure we have our V-neck properly ironed out before we sew the remaining parts. Okay. Alright, you have that there. Alright. Okay, so finally now sew again at the tip round. Sew at the tip round. So that is how to sew for a V-neck. Okay, we now want to sew the back. Remember the back, this is the back, we've turned it to the back after you've ironed it. So trying to close this down. You're trying to close this down. So you're trying to close this down, as you can see. Okay, we're trying to close this down, close it down. We're sewing it from the back. Okay. All right. Finally, before we round up, we also sew these points. Watch careful, these points where the overlap, the lapping is, these points here. Here. Also sew this down as well. Okay, so this is how to make a V-neck. Finally, now if you want to leave it this way, it's fine. But if there are some persons that might not want it to be this way, so you can just get your fabric in this shape, then try to cover it from, try to place it as shown, leaving it this way. As you can see, so you now sew the edge, this, sew this round. That is if you don't want to use it, so you can just leave it. But if you want to, you put this at the down under, then you sew this one. So this is how to go about sewing a V-neck. So your chest is accurate. Finally, now over to the armhole. If you take a look at some top, you'll notice that this armpit parts, this armhole region is squeezed or rumpled, which is very bad. Now this is secret. One, you make sure that you get the exact shoulder measurement. 2, you also make sure that you get the exact chest measurement. If your shoulder is 18, you make sure that on fold, if you should fold your fabric, make sure that your shoulder is exactly 18 plus your half inch. Take 18 plus your half inch. Then you also make sure that your chest measurement from this point, you also make sure that it's exactly 40 plus your sewing allowance. Then when you're through adjusting everything, now watch carefully, you also make sure that the front panel of your armhole, the front panel is deeper than the back with at least half inch. Take note. Let's do this. As you can see, you put a knot. So before you fix your sleeve, you do this. Take note, before you fix your sleeve, make sure that the front panel of your top is deeper than the back with at least 1/4 to half inch. So now you can now fix your sleeve to avoid that rumple part. Once again, you're watching PJ Collection Clothing Online class.